Hello and happy Friday, and thanks for tuning in to RadioFreeRhinecliff.org and this show in particular. Correct me if I'm Norm. I'm your host, Norm. I'm thrilled to be here tonight with Mr. John Burton. Hello, John. How you doing?
I can't even talk in the mic. Listen to that voice. He's so good. Damn.
Oh, please, let's not start.
I'm just going to strum and you
so
talk.
Good. Now, you were here earlier today doing something, right?
Yeah, I did 2 shows today, yeah.
2 shows?
Yeah.
And what kind of shows do you do? Is it like a striptease kind of thing, or?
Cake. Come out of the cake.
You come out of the cake?
Yeah,
Fan dancer.
What? But 18 months ago, I couldn't have done that, but 50 pounds less now. Now I can actually pop the cake anytime I want.
All right, but tell the folks who might not know, I don't know if they're living under a rock, what your show is.
My show is Home From Here,
Uh-huh.
and it focuses on mental health, the creative process, anything funny, music specifically, just because that's my tool, and anything uplifting.
That's your tool for what?
For everything. For coping, for saying things that I can't say out loud, to get girls. It's my tool for everything.
And how long have you had that tool in your toolbox?
Competently 10th grade.
10th grade?
Yeah.
And where were you living in 10th grade? Rhinebeck.
Yeah, I grew up in
That's
Rhinebeck.
near Rhinecliff.
Yeah.
And so did you live there your whole youth?
Yeah. And I got a guitar when I was about 7. And the top string broke, so I learned to play on a 5-string guitar.
Uh-huh.
And then I brought it to school, and somebody said, "No, you got to get a 6-string." And in Rhinebeck in 1970, whatever, there's no music store around, so it took me like another 3 months to get a 6-string. I got one and had to relearn the whole thing. It was a pain in the ass.
And where there was also no Amazon, no internet. Where did you go to find the strings? Like
Kingston.
There was
Kingston. Yeah. We all went to Kingston for everything.
Uh-huh.
Kingston was the source.
And is that place still there, the music store in Kingston?
I don't know. Probably.
Where do you get your strings now?
Online. From Stringjoy, soon to be a sponsor of Home From Here.
Stringjoy.com.
Yeah.
Home From Here. Do you have sponsors? Many sponsors for your podcast?
I'm working on
show?
it. It's tricky because to have sponsors, you have to have like a real regulated time when the show's going to be on. You have to be able to, say to a sponsor, your show's going to be on Wednesday at 11, or it's going to be posted, and that's So I'm working through trying to figure out how to be liquid with that and still have sponsors.
But you have a regularly scheduled show.
But it's not live like yours. So I can record a show and it can air next week or the week after,
right?
Depending upon show load.
It could air on a regular schedule at some point.
Yeah.
Right. And how many shows a week would be ideal for you?
Ideal for me?
Yeah.
Like they don't have the tolerance for this. I would love to be doing 4.
4?
Yeah, I do 2 now, and I would love to be doing 4.
Okay. You do 2 now, and you did both of them earlier today.
Both today, yeah.
And they're recorded, and they will air.
There's a bunch of factors to it. Yeah.
Okay.
But these will air next week.
Huh. Well, so why do you not lock down a particular time? Like, my show's going to air every Thursday at 7 p.m. or.
Ask Matt. I don't know.
Yeah, we're lucky we've got the station manager here. Oh, with the music.
Yeah, because we do covers. And Matt figured out a genius way to get it so that we can do covers, but that probably...
I see. It's a licensing issue.
Right.
And then once you do that, I mean, do you have to... I have no idea how you'd get sponsors. Do you have to know what your ratings are and all that kind of stuff? Or is it a goodwill sponsorship?
Probably more goodwill. Ratings are tricky. I talk about our ranking all the time. I don't have access to the ratings, so I don't know. The only thing I can talk about is where we rank in relationship to other shows on Mixcloud.
Right. On Mixcloud, are there other services that do rankings as well?
There are, but because I do covers, it's really hard to, it's hard to be on any other platform than Mixcloud because we do covers all the time.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Huh, I've listened to a few of your shows. I don't recall hearing covers. I recall hearing a lot of original music.
We focus on the original, but like last week we did Melissa for Jen and...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
the Skinner song?
Allman Brothers.
Yeah. Skinner, Allman Brothers.
Blonde, long hair.
Next state over.
Same thing. Yeah. Right.
So, but you also, you write a lot of your own music.
Yeah.
And perform a lot of your own songs, and they're fabulous.
Thanks.
I've listened to them. I printed out some of the lyrics, and I read them to Kimmy Berlin here.
Hi, Kimmy Berlin.
And and some of them are really just lovely and moving lyrics.
Thank you very much.
How long have you been writing music in addition to playing it?
My first song I ever wrote, I was 8 years old. I performed it at Rhinebeck Reformed Church and in a coffee house on 5 strings, and it sucked. But I've been writing a lot, and I forgot a lot that I wrote too, because I had a period in my life where I stopped playing, and then when I started playing again, I forgot a lot of the songs that I had written.
And why did you stop playing?
I had like this gigantic breakdown and didn't do much of anything except drink and be crazy for 10 years. And
how many years?
8.
And what fomented the breakdown? What
Jen,
spurred
what's foment
that?
mean?
What's that?
What's foment mean?
What spurred?
Thank you. Okay, all right. I got a lifeline.
I'm sorry. No.
No. I don't know. I was diagnosed with so many things that to go down each rabbit hole and try to figure out which one was the right one and where it started, I didn't do.
How old were you?
I was, when I got real sick, probably 50, 51.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So it's not that long ago.
No. Well, you're kind. No, a decade ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're very kind. 40, maybe 48, maybe something like that. Yeah.
And so you were married at that point in time?
Yeah. Yep.
And did you have a kid also?
Yeah. My kid saved my life. Yeah.
So you had this breakdown with your family
right in front of him. I burned the whole house down right in front of him.
Wow. And what did it look like? How did this manifest?
Pick your poison. At one point I talk about running. We lived in a log cabin, and I would run around the log cabin in my underwear with a BB gun looking for aliens to shoot, to flipping cars, to living a whole separate life, to pick it. I mean, I just lost everything.
And so you were sort of absentee father and spouse for some part of that, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yep. That's safe to say.
Wow. So how then did you pull yourself out of that?
I went to jail and got about 16 million.
Okay. Let's just back it right up. Oh yeah, I went to jail. Why'd you go to jail?
Good question. I don't know. And
really?
No, I know. I do know why. I was arrested at one point for 52 felony counts and was facing 350 years in jail, and it was a thing. And
sounds like a thing.
Yeah, it was a thing.
And where did that arrest happen?
Putnam County.
Okay.
And so and when I was in jail, they gave me a bunch of different medications to try to treat whatever was going on. Then when I was in jail for a month. Then when I got out, I saw my regular doctor. I saw the regular doctor, and she gave me other medications, and doctors weren't talking to doctors, and I couldn't sort the whole thing out.
Right.
So I wound up taking medications that were counterindicating.
Right.
And the worst one was lithium. And lithium, turns out, if you're me, lithium is poison. And I was taking an awful lot of it, and I kept getting sicker and sicker, and physically sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker, until one day I went to my family and said, I know everybody's going to think I'm crazy to get off the medication, but everybody thinks I'm crazy anyway. But it's going to kill me. I feel like it's going to kill me. I'm just going to stop and go clean. And at that point, pretty much everybody abandoned ship, because who knew what you were going to get except for me. But everybody knew on medication I was on a couch, but that was it. But they didn't know how I was going to be when I got out. So I detoxed for an entire summer with my daughter Gramercy, who literally saved my life. She would make me eat.
I'm sorry, who?
Gramercy, my daughter.
Okay.
She was 7 at the time, I think 7.
And had your wife Trish? She decamped somewhere?
She decamped, yeah. And I don't blame her or hold it against her at all. I gave her about 12 million reasons to decamp, and she waited until the 12 millionth. So that was more than fair ball. And she decamped, but she circled around the perimeter an awful lot.
That's nice.
Yeah, she's a nice lady. And
it's tough, because it's a tough balancing act with somebody you care about. The fine line between being codependent and
totally
enabling.
Yep.
And wanting to be supportive, but not doing doing that the wrong way?
There's no right answer to how to do that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, and so so I just made the decision that I was just gonna clean the drugs out of me and then see what happened after that.
And that was the 12 milli threes, and your wife, Trish,
and she's like, I don't know what we're, right. At least if you're sedated, you're on a couch and I can watch you.
But she presumably let your kid, Gramercy, hang around you and
live with
make
me,
you grilled cheese sandwiches.
Well, I asked her about that, and she says, I always knew that when it came to Gramercy, you would be present and you would.
I love that.
Yeah. So and Gramercy did it. She would walk me up and take me outside every day to get the mail and walk up and down the driveway. I didn't get outside much, so she'd walk me up and down the driveway and make up stories because she knew I wouldn't interrupt her if she was telling a story. So she would just make up these hour-long stories to exercise me and then make me peanut butter and jelly and whatever else a 7-year-old could do. And she would call adults and yell at them to come see me. She was amazing.
I love that sense. She knew you wouldn't interrupt her if she was telling you a story.
Right.
It's a little bit like Scheherazade in the 1001 Arabian Nights.
Yeah.
And were you a notorious interrupter?
No, I just didn't have the stamina to walk and didn't want to be around people. So you would start a conversation with me and I would just wander off and think that I was an astronaut.
So did you go off everything cold turkey?
Yep.
Which is, they're like,
the worst thing
whatever you do.
Oh, it was the worst thing to do.
Titrate off of the stuff. Don't go off cold turkey.
Absolutely the worst thing I could have possibly done physically and the best thing I could have done mentally.
And it worked out. What did the recovery look like? I'm imagining you in like a windowless log cabin in the middle of the woods with your kid, kind of looking after you.
Pretty much. I sweat for about 4 weeks straight. So literally, you wouldn't believe it. Literally sleeping on towels for an hour and a half. Then I would roll off the couch. Gramercy would grab the towels, put them in the dryer, give me new towels, and just drenched. And that went on for 4 weeks, I bet. And then there was vomiting, couldn't keep food down, shaking, couldn't hold anything, headache, volcanic migraine for 5 weeks easy, and crying jags all the time. But little by little, as it started to leave, I started to feel there's a good guy there. If I just clear the path, I can get to the good guy.
The good guy, you saw the good guy inside of you.
Yeah.
And felt that you needed to get back to that good guy.
Yeah. Or meet him for the first time.
So you're getting off of the drugs. It sounds like a living hell.
It was tough. Yeah.
But what were you doing to sort of address the underlying issues that led you down this path to begin with?
So what I decided was that whatever I had, I was going to treat it like a chronic illness. Meaning I'm going to have this disease, and I still do today. I'm going to have whatever I have every day for the rest of my life.
Right.
So I'm going to treat it every day for the rest of my life. So I developed a regimen. I closed my circle of people that I would talk to a very small circle. I took up meditation very aggressively. I took up journaling.
What kind of medication?
Meditation.
Oh, meditation. Okay.
I took up journaling. I dropped my old career and decided I was going to do something creative because that's always what I was supposed to do. And that part of it, what was making me nuts too, is that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, and exercise, and just decided I'm just going to treat every day and just don't make like an alcoholic treat. Stop drinking. I'm not going to have a drink this hour. I'm not going to do something crazy.
One day at a time.
Yeah. And anything that's impulsive, I just don't do, period. And
did you join any of those 12-step programs?
I went to rehab and got kicked out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Mount Kisco. I'm trying to think of the name.
Okay.
It was in Mount Kisco.
What'd you get kicked out for?
Because they said I didn't have a problem.
Oh.
They're like, your problem isn't drinking. Your problem is you're crazy. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. So, when I say kicked out,
that's what they said. That doesn't seem like an especially professional thing to say to somebody.
They probably said it in more professional language than that, but
still.
But they said, we don't think substance abuse is your problem. We think, that you have mental health issues that you need to address.
Right.
And they referred me. Obviously, they didn't just throw me out on the sidewalk.
And so, did you call up whoever they referred you to? Did you seek out? Talk therapy? No, nothing.
No. I've been in therapy a lot, and there are. I'm a huge proponent of therapy.
Yeah, therapy's great.
It's absolutely fantastic. I think everybody should experience it, healthy or unhealthy, whatever. I think everybody should. They're like anything else, though. There's some people for whom it doesn't work, and I think I'm just one of those people.
Okay.
Because I mean, I ran through a laundry list of therapists.
So you're doing meditation
Yeah.
and exercise.
Meditation, exercise.
You're seeing somehow this good guy inside of you.
Yeah.
And you're working towards the light of that fellow.
Yeah. That's the home from here part of it. To get from here to that guy.
Just amazing. I love I love hearing this story, and you seem very comfortable talking about it.
Yeah, I am. That was one of the decisions too. Was that if I was going to be completely me, I was just going to have to be transparent about everything and let the chips fall where they may. And I thought that was going to be my undoing. I
Right.
had no idea, and the way my world responded to that was incredible. Compassion, love, support, people having my back. It was amazing.
And what were you doing for money during that era?
I had a little bit of money saved up, and
Right.
and Trish paid a lot of the bills. So yeah, Trish kind of carried us during that.
Just amazing. And home. You mentioned Home From Here. That's where it came from.
But I wrote a one-man show about this whole thing. It was called Home From Here, and then
And what form did the one-man show take?
it's me with a guitar, and there's 12 songs that are about that experience, and I tell the stories in between. And
Nice.
Yeah.
And where was that performed?
I performed it around. Last place I performed it was in New Paltz at the Art Center in New Paltz. I can't. Sorry, Fahim. Unison Art Center. Yeah.
And how long was the piece? What's the duration?
It about 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a healthy length
with no break
for 1 minute.
Yeah, yeah, no break.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on, you got to give people a break.
No, but it was cool. So the last time I performed it, my daughter got to see me get a standing ovation, and that made it worth it.
And how old is she now?
She is now 15.
Wow. All right, well, I got a bunch more questions, but this seems like a great time. You wrote a song, Home From Here, as well.
Yes.
Can you, I'm putting you on the spot. Can you, I've got the lyrics here. Can you play that?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know all the lyrics by heart?
I think so. If I don't, spot me.
No, I'm not going to spot you. If you don't, just skip over it.
All right, let's do this a shot. Okay, I got it. We both know what this is. What's the next line? No, just
Parking
kidding.
lots of two-tone wonder.
Sorry, the joke was just sitting there. Sorry, I'll shut up. We both know what this is. Now I forgot the lyrics.
Oh, see?
It got in my head and I forgot them.
It's learned helplessness. That's what it is.
All right, hold on.
Here's page 2.
Got it. Round 3.
Yeah.
Put your head right here. We both know what this is. Parking lots of two-tone wonder. Baby, I've been diving under you. Frosted window shield. I can see your breath in my mouth, and the seats don't warm unless we make them. Chances die unless we take them. Oh, I know this ain't your Ferris wheel, but I can get us home from here. I can get us home from here. Your best words go unspoken, and the best of me got broken. But in the darkness I saw one thing clear. I can get us home from here. It's a super long song, but that's the gist of it.
All right. It's beautiful. And that lyric,
thanks.
I can get us home from here, is really kind of powerful. It's simple lyric, but the promise of I can get us home from here.
Well, that song was written when I was getting my family back.
Right.
And I said, I'm telling you, I know I took everything away. I can put everything back. You just have to bet on me.
And they did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, really just foolishly. I'm going to guess.
Yeah. No.
And miraculously.
It was an odds-off bet.
A what?
It was an odds-off bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, God bless them both.
Yeah, they're amazing.
And the family's still together.
Yep.
After that hellish 8 years.
Yeah, that was rough.
And they're covering. And just amazing. I would love to meet them.
And absolutely.
And are either of them in therapy now?
No. I talked to my daughter, and I have an unusual relationship because of that summer. We're pretty tight.
Yeah.
And I check in with her about once a week, because then
right.
She also went through. My wife got cancer this past year, so she went. Yeah, so she went through that too. So I check in pretty regular about, hey, do you need to talk about stuff?
Right.
And she talks about it with me, which is not anywhere near as smart as therapy, but
no, it's not. I mean, the psychological toll on the developing brain of a teenager.
What that kid has seen
having to be the parent.
Yeah.
Is pretty profound.
Yeah,
I would guess.
But I when I talk about her, I say there's no way she was born 0 years old. She was she an old soul.
Right. Just amazing. And your wife, how is she? She
from the
cancer?
Yeah, she had head and neck cancer, and they chopped her head off and then burned her face off. And we had a year that was just it was one insanity after another with that. The surgery went way bigger than anybody thought it was gonna.
They got in there and saw more than they'd.
Yeah, way more. It had gone to her lymph nodes, and so they wound up literally taking her head half off to get it.
I mean, that's tough. That sounds like a death sentence. But she's still here.
She's and kicking. She went through 6 weeks of chemo and radiation every day, and it ended December 30th of 2022. And she since it took about 4 more months for her to be able to stand up and walk around. She went back to work, but she had to sit. And then this summer we dedicated ourselves to getting her back, and we met this angel. I would start crying. We met this angel of a woman who walked her through being comfortable in front of people and literally how to walk again, to just an amazing gift. And so
and now they got it. It's gone.
It's all gone. Yeah, she got her first clear PET scan 3 weeks ago.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
And this is a good time to have a toast.
Absolutely, yeah.
As is a tradition here in Correct Me If I'm Wrong, the guest brought a lovely beverage for us to enjoy this Friday after work. What'd you bring?
I don't know. A Pinot Grigio, because it's still hot.
Yeah. All right, good.
Yeah. You want me to do it?
Yes, please.
All right. Perfect.
That's amazing.
Oh.
And so one of the songs, I read one of the lyrics in one of your songs, and I was like, wow, sounds like he was in rehab or somebody had an intervention or something.
Which, do you remember what it was?
No, but
it's not a quiz.
As you're serving that, well, I've got a quiz for you later.
Okay.
Yeah, at one point, it said, I remember, it's in a song called Just Bleed Through. And the lyric is, I remember the office where you all threw your pasts at me.
Yeah.
And in front of my daughter, you all took my dignity.
Yeah. That was
sounded sort of like an intervention had happened.
No, that was actually, this is where I get in trouble, because I write a song like that. And
all right, well, here, don't get in trouble. Let's do this instead.
Cheers.
Cheers to your
Thank you, brother. Thank
wife,
you for having me, man.
And to your family, and
Thank
to the support that you all seem like you must give to each other. It must be remarkable. Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Sweet.
Oh, thank you.
Yum.
That lyric actually came from when we all sat in a room and everybody said, "If you stop taking the drugs, we're out of here."
Oh,
and,
isn't that funny?
Yeah. So and they went, but yeah.
Yeah. But you did, and it's just remarkable. So, have you do you write non-musical biography, like
I'm
a memoir? I guess is what
I
it's
have a
called.
book called Unsupervised.
Uh-huh.
That is about 95% done.
Uh-huh.
But the hassle with my life is the way that I talk and write. It makes sense to me, but I'm finding that it requires an editor, an aggressive editor, especially with this book, because this book is about the legal system too. So even though I'm this close to done with it, it's still going to be 6 months for my lawyer to go through it and say, you can say this, you can't say this.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you want that.
Even if you change names and details, you can't say a lot of
Well,
that.
because you'd be able to figure it out.
Right.
So, so we're working on it.
Well, so your show, Home From Here, you've done like 80 episodes
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
When did that officially begin?
About a year ago, July, I think.
Okay.
I'm so bad with time. I mean, maybe a year ago, July.
And you say, and the thing that you want it to be something that people who are having psychological difficulty, you want it to be about emotional exploration, emotional health. And
we just had a cello player in here today, who's a magnificent cello player, and the only note that he gave, because I do the same thing you do. I say, is there anything I can't talk about? And he's like, no, but he said, just ask me about trauma. And I said, okay. And I left it there because I prefer to do, I'm like you, I don't pre-interview very much.
right.
And so I said, okay, tell me about the trauma. And he said, I was sexually abused as a child, and I forgive the guy who did it, and I don't think jail's the place for people like that. And that's really what I think the skeleton of the show is the more people speak openly about that kind of thing, the more comfortable we become with it. The more comfortable we become with it, the less afraid we are, and less afraid we are, the more aggressively we can address it.
Right. The more it becomes like just normalized. It's like people have all kinds of health problems, and emotional and psychological health problems are just another one of them.
Yeah. But it's funny that we don't get that, because we call it mental health, but we don't treat it as health. There's no, except for Kimmy, there's almost no preventative mental health care available to anybody under the age of 18.
Except for what?
Except for Kimmy.
Kimmy. Oh,
Kimmy is kicking ass in that.
and this is a woman you interviewed last
Kimmy
week
Berlin,
on your show?
who has a website, Build Up Boys, and it's just doing the Lord's work by teaching boys specifically, how to process their emotions, how to articulate them, how to manage them, how to regulate them.
Right.
And that is the gift that keeps on giving, because it makes better boys, sure, but it makes better men.
And it's a beautiful thing. And it's buildupboys.org. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you've got some websites too, right? And one of them, which is just such a swerve from where we are now, is called ivy-style.com.
Yeah.
And this is just amazing, because your whole story is so rich and profound and really heartfelt and important. And I'm sorry, but I don't think fashion is very important.
It's not.
But I mean, you take it seriously. And,
I do.
And people do, and it's fine. I take it seriously.
Well,
most people do.
Some people take it too seriously. Here's why I think it's important. And you're a man, so you'll get this, because Ivy style is basically a male fashion. There's some women that dress it now, thank God, because they look great in it. But for a lot of men, there's not much they do to express themselves creatively.
Right.
And I believe in creativity like a religion. For the majority of men, the most creative thing they do all day is pick out what they're wearing.
Right.
So if that's the only thing you do to flex your creativity all day, it should be curated. You should care about it. You should care about what you're putting out creatively, even if it's just your suit when you go punch numbers all day.
Right.
And I also I like the idea that Ivy style has a dignity ethos to it.
Right.
And I love the idea, and that does cross boundaries. Like, mental health needs dignity, and people in general require dignity, and I like that aspect of it. There's some aspects about that site that I absolutely fucking hate, but there are some that I really like.
Can you describe what Ivy style is?
Yeah, so the way people see. So you know what prep is?
Yeah, sure.
Right. So prep is what you wear in high school. Ivy's what you wear in college, and trad's what you wear when you get your first job.
Okay.
That's it's
and are these industry names for this?
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. There's specific genres, and
Right.
some people take Ivy style so seriously they create a canon, and like this is part of the canon, and this isn't, and
And so, is there a canon on your website?
no, I don't believe in that. I eat a lot of S for the way I think about.
You do what?
I eat a lot of S for my views on that site. But
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I think a canon for clothing is stupid.
Well, so how is Ivy different from Preppy?
Ivy has a more dull palette. It's navies and whites, and
Okay.
there's not a lot of color. There's 2 or 3 things where you're allowed to flex color. Madras, which is a fabric print, you're allowed to have color there. Ivy, if you wear a polo shirt, you don't pop your collar. Ivy is
You know
Go on.
when it's okay to pop your collar?
When?
I just discovered this. I think this year. When I play tennis, I wear long sleeve cotton shirts, the Izod shirts, Lacoste shirts,
nice.
and I button the buttons up and I pop the collar to keep my neck from getting sunburned.
Okay, fair
And
enough.
As soon as I did that, I thought, oh, is that what these collars are for? Is that why they made these collars a little bit stiff like that?
Yeah, and that's why the first use of that polo shirt you're talking about was actually for boating, because people would pop their collar to keep the sun off their neck on a boat.
and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that's so good. And
Welcome to Ivy Style. What color
Ivy
was the
Style.
shirt? It's white. Yeah,
White.
it's Ivy Style. Yeah.
White.
Welcome.
All right, good. Well, listen, Prep versus Ivy. I prepared a little quiz for you, a pop quiz.
Bring the noise.
Which we call the lightning round.
Okay.
So you got to answer as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Ready?
Go.
Which brand has the golden fleece?
Brooks Brothers.
Whose original name was Ralph Ruben Lifshitz?
Ralph Lauren.
Another name for the trousers known as plus fours.
I have no idea.
Oh, knickers.
Knickers. Okay.
Who makes the classic desert boat?
No idea.
Clark's.
Not Alden.
No.
Not Clark.
Clark's.
Is Clark is a
I
classic?
believe it's Clark's. But
You could be right.
It could be wrong. That's the idea of the show. Have you ever starched your chinos?
No. Nor should anyone ever start their chinos.
Pleats or no pleats?
No pleats. Stop.
Would you ever own a pair of Dockers?
I suppose when homeless, I would own a pair of Dockers.
All right, good. Under extreme duress.
Right.
Patchwork madras trousers, yay or nay?
Yay.
Patchwork madras jacket.
Not with the trousers, but yay.
How do you clean white bucks?
You don't. The dirtier, the better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't clean white bucks.
Oh, you would never use a little chalk bag on them? I see.
Preppy would use a chalk bag. Ivy wants you to know they're old.
All right, good. Well, you know what? I'm going to skip ahead right now to this part of the lightning round. Ivy, Preppy, or other? You decide. Ready?
Okay, go.
So you say Ivy, Preppy, or other.
Right.
John Updike.
Ivy.
J.D. Salinger.
Ivy.
James Baldwin.
Other.
Donald Rumsfeld.
Yeah, well, the way he dressed,
Yeah.
probably Ivy.
George
The way he acted,
H.W. Bush, the dad.
Oh, king of Ivy. Oh, he was the king of Ivy, and
All
he was
right.
also funny about it.
Yeah, Dick Cheney.
Other.
All right, come on, faster here. Steve
Okay.
McQueen.
Definitely Ivy. King of Ivy.
James Dean.
Other. Paul Newman, Ivy.
Bob Newhart.
Other.
All right, Tommy Hilfiger.
I know Tommy Hilfiger. I got a funny Tommy Hilfiger story. Other.
J. Crew.
Can be Ivy, can be Preppy, both.
Brooks Brothers.
Used to be Ivy.
All right, we're going to swerve here. Rolls Royce. Ivy, Preppy, or other?
Preppy. That's too much money
Mini
for
Cooper.
Ivy. Still a little showy. Preppy.
Jaguar.
Definitely Preppy.
MG.
Definitely Preppy.
Interesting. Nat King Cole.
Ivy.
Dave Brubeck.
Definitely Ivy.
Tyler, the Creator.
Has been Ivy. I've seen Ivy stuff.
James Taylor.
God. Sorry, Ivy.
Nick Drake.
Preppy.
Are you going to jump ahead here? Gin and tonic.
Ivy.
Martini, shaken, not stirred.
Prep.
Manhattan.
That's a good one. Ivy.
Perfect Manhattan.
Preppy.
All right, now, last one. Match the Pulitzers with their icon. I need the name of the Pulitzer clan. The strumpet with the trumpet. It was Roxanne Pulitzer.
Okay.
Pink and green fashion.
Who? Lily Pulitzer.
Lily Pulitzer.
Okay. These are prep, man.
Newspaper. Well, that's good.
Okay.
Newspaper publisher. Pulitzer?
Who? Joseph Pulitzer. I was
All
going
right,
to say that.
good. Good. Thank you so much for playing the lightning
No, that
round.
was fun, man.
Yeah, that's good. You did very, very well.
Oh, thank you.
So how did you get into that kind of a thing? I went to the website. It's ivy-style.com.
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
And, you get interviewed by a lot of other bloggers about this.
Yeah.
And you write a lot. You're the publisher.
Yeah.
It's a lovely website.
Oh, thanks.
How the hell did you get into that?
So the website has a Facebook group. And so I joined the Facebook group because I liked the fashion and I learned about it. And I quickly came around to the theory that the audience is 10,000 really good, well-meaning people and 2 raging. Sorry. So I set about trying to introduce new things. And Ivy used to be not inclusive at all. Whatever you think the opposite of inclusive is, that used to be that whole group. And it pissed me off. So I wound up opening it up by posting, and then my post got popular. And then the former publishers of the Facebook group said, hey, do you want to run the Facebook group? And I said, yeah. And then I ran the Facebook group, and then he said, hey, do you want to run the site? So I took it over.
The website. So you took over the website.
Yeah.
And you seem to post there regularly.
Yeah. I try to do 3 or 4 a week. Yeah.
3 or 4 a week.
Yeah.
So you're a busy man.
Between
Home from here and that and writing songs and performing. You've got a performance coming up in a couple of weeks.
September 22nd at the Morton Library. Starts at 6:15 because I want you to come over. So we'll wait till you. I'm starting when you get there. Thank you for making your reservation, by the way.
Sure.
Which you can do on jnburton.com. And suggested donation is $20. It's to benefit the station. There will be refreshments available, in quotes. And it's me, Mark Delgado, Seth David Branitz, and Jesse Lee Montague. They've all been on the show before.
On your show,
yeah,
from here.
Yeah, and they're all funny, and they're all funny, and they're all really talented musicians. The Hudson Valley, for some reason, and I've been around, the Hudson Valley for some reason has such a dearth of talented musicians. It's like you swing a cat and you can hit somebody who can play really good guitar.
It's packed.
Yeah.
And did you always live on this side of the river?
I lived in Kingston when I got out of college and worked at TP Dashery in the Kingston Mall.
At where?
TP Dashery used to be. It used to be like this horrible clothes store.
And is it Ivy or Preppy?
It's neither. It's atrocious. And but I like clothes. So I lived in Kingston for like a year. But other than that, then I moved to Westchester and been there. But I'm trying to get back up here desperately
because we have. I mean, this is like the 3rd time our paths have ever crossed. But we have like 200 friends in common on Facebook. It's really remarkable.
Yeah.
And about half of them are Woodstock area and Kingston people.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to ask about one in particular, Kitty Montgomery. Does that ring a bell?
No.
I was afraid it wouldn't. She's a friend in common.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Kitty Montgomery.
she was a theater critic for a long time. She lived up the street when I lived in Woodstock, up Mink Hollow.
Okay.
And she was just fabulous. I called her to her face the diva of Mink Hollow.
Sweet. Is
Yeah.
she?
She must be 80 something by now.
Okay. I think I can see her face, but yeah.
I was thrilled because I went through all of our friends in common. I'm like, yeah. I was like, oh, Kitty Montgomery. She's.
I'll look her up. I'll look her up when I get home though and say hi.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Please do. Yeah. And if I remember, I'll send her this interview.
Okay. Wonderful.
So where are we going now? I think you said you were always into clothes, or you were into clothes after college.
It was aspirational. I grew up here, and when I grew up here, everybody wore flannel shirts, jeans, work boots, and everybody every day after school sat out in a pickup truck in Rhinebeck Central High and waited for Red Hook kids to come over so we could fight. And
did you ever take the fight to Red Hook?
No. Red Hook. No, you come to me.
You come here.
Right,
you come here.
I'm
nicer here.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. But everybody does the same. There's this one guy. I'll drop his name because he's a friend of mine. His name was Scott Yeager, and he dressed so well. And I noticed that every single day, and I was like, wow, that guy's not afraid to be different, and he happens to be really good. He was very preppy, so I admired that willingness to be different, and I admired a guy giving a crap about what he looked like.
Right.
And but I couldn't afford anything. So but when I got out of college, I was able to afford clothes and started doing it.
Right. And where'd you go to college?
Northwestern College in Iowa. Not the university, so please don't sue me for saying that. It's Northwestern College. It's a little tiny school. There's like 800 people in Iowa.
Where in Iowa?
Orange City, Iowa, the northwest corner.
Northwest.
Dry town and a dry county.
Wow.
Church school. Went.
And so you left Rhinebeck and went to this college in the
Yeah.
northwest corner of Iowa?
Dutch Reformed Church kind of set me up to go there in a good way. They're
Okay.
like this kid has no money. This kid is my
Not
family
like,
situation.
not like this kid's trouble and he
No.
needs to me.
No. They were like, this kid should. I worked. The CVS in Rhinebeck used to be Kilmer's,
Uh-huh.
and I worked the deli there. And I was going to work in the deli in Kilmer's my whole life because it was fun. I could make up signs and jokes, and it was fun. My manager at the deli, I said to him, I'm graduating and I want to become assistant manager. And he said, and he was dead serious. He said, you either go to college, I'm going to break you off. So I was like, okay, I'm going to college because I respected him. So, and then the church kind of set up, it's a Reformed church school that I went to. So they kind of set up that I would be able to go.
Uh-huh. And was it a religious college out in northwest Iowa?
Yeah. Chapel 5 days a week. And yeah,
And
weren't allowed to be in a room with a girl with the door. You had to have the door open an inch, which was the dumbest rule in the world, but okay. And yeah.
The door open
an inch. Yeah, like an inch is going to stop me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm 18. I got hormones running through my body, but there's that inch. So no, I'm
Yeah, it's all cool.
right.
And so did you stay there for 4 years?
I did.
And it was some kind of Christian sect, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was Reformed church school, so Protestant.
Okay. Just like
And,
general sort of Protestant or
well, Reformed church. So
Dutch Reformed?
this one wasn't Dutch Reformed, but the distinctions are so funky when you start breaking apart Protestant.
Sure.
The delineations are so, it's like one believes in like age of accountability, which means you can't get baptized until you can be accountable for your actions.
Right.
Like stupid little things like that. Part of the reason I walked away from the church actually was that nonsense.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you walk away from the church?
This year.
Oh, this year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I finally decided. I tried to go to church my whole life. And almost every church I went to, I wound up in a leadership position and getting disappointed. And
In a leadership position, getting disappointed?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so finally I just decided that, and I saw so many people in other walks of life. Like I had an incident where Matt had my back. That was a kind of a game changer for me because I'm like, wait a second, I got a church where people don't have my back, and I got a radio show where a guy I kind of know just went to the wall for me. Where should I be? Yeah, Matt. Where should I be putting my energy? And
Right.
then I saw people I saw Matt, here we crying again. This summer I saw Trish was going through her physical therapy, and this trainer Julie, she was crying in the gym, and they got down on all fours, and they're forehead to forehead. And there's a whole gym standing there watching them, and Julie's whispering, and no one else can hear. And to me, there two women down on their knees, head to head, looked like prayer. And I was like, okay, that's probably the way we should be praying,
Right.
Because it worked. Because 2 minutes later, Trish got up and kept going. And so I just kind of decided, like, I like the idea of church as an idea, but I can't find one that works. And I've been around, but I've seen other stuff. I've seen good people like you guys do good work, and I've seen people work with Trish that do good work, and I'm like, I'd rather hang with you guys at the end of the day, I think.
Right. And if you could find a church that worked the way that did with Trish and this woman forehead to forehead, with like
I don't think it can, because there's no hierarchy. The churches start to have hierarchy, and it starts.
Quakers.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
You know?
yeah. You might be right, but
Right, I mean, they don't have a hierarchy, and somebody told me a joke, sort of a joke, an illustration, I guess, the other day. Guy went to the first ever like Quaker meeting of friends, I think they call it, and they hung out there for a couple hours and then left, and he asked his friend who brought him, well, when does the service begin? I said, now,
right,
when you go out into the
right,
world,
right. Church
It's
begins
just so beautiful.
Yeah, church is every day but Sunday.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to be evidence based, and I see people that aren't my religion, or maybe not even necessarily religious, do such holy things, and I see people who have been appointed to do holy things do the exact opposite. And,
Right.
and at some point, I'm the idiot for at some point, church is football and I'm Charlie Brown. And
Right. And the pastor is Lucy.
right,
Lucy
exactly.
Van Pelt. So evidence-based, I mean, that pretty much does away with almost all of the, tenets of Christianity. The Immaculate Conception, the resurrection.
Well,
If you look at evidence-based, that stuff's out the door.
yeah, no, I mean, I've seen so many miracles though that
Okay.
that I and I also religion kind of talks the way I talk. The idea is to get the main gist across, and
Right.
if you funk up a couple details, you hope that there aren't a-holes that are following you around that just want to focus on the details you funked up and rather get the broader message.
Right.
And I think that's religion. So when you get caught up on, it takes 7 days to create the earth. I don't know.
Right.
I got to believe the earth was created because it's here.
Right.
So that's kind of the bigger picture.
So you walked away from, but you're still defending it, and
I defend faith.
Okay,
I think
gotcha.
faith plays a role. Then by all means, and if church works for you, God bless. It's like psychiatric medication. If it works for you, you should definitely. If you're suffering, you should definitely try it. But it may not work for you.
And how was your church while you were doing your rehab? While you were doing the, going?
Oh,
cold?
I wasn't belonging to a church at that point. I really didn't leave the house. I just kind of sat on the couch and sweat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as you were descending into, the rock bottom.
I have for better or worse, I have the type of personality where you can get caught up in the entertainment side of being with me and not pay much attention to what's really going on. And so a lot of my friends did that too. Like I was in a bad way and a lot of people didn't know. I mean, I had I'm in the cabin with a BB gun shooting at aliens in my underwear. And I have friends who had no idea the next day.
Right.
So I don't really blame anybody for not knowing, but yeah, it's not their fault.
Right. Huh. Well, would you play another original song for us now?
Sure. What are you in the mood for?
You know what? I really like the song called, oh geez.
Please say, I remember the song.
I Remember the Sun.
Is that it?
That's it.
Was it really it?
Yeah, that's really it.
Do you know the story behind that song?
No, let's hear that.
Oh, so it's for Trish. And the story is, so she goes through the treatment and she literally can't walk. And we're done with treatment and it's the middle of winter. And I'm like, I got to get her outside to walk. So and she hadn't been outside in a couple months. And for the couple months before then, she hadn't seen the sun at all because it was treatment home. So I have to make her walk. So I take her out the front, and it was miraculous. And she couldn't really talk. Her face was still swollen. She was wobbly. She had like no muscle tone to stand up with, so I had to help her. But I thought for the first day it would be enough to just put her outside and let her stand. If she could stand up outside, that would be the win for the day. So I walk her outside, and she's standing outside. She's in a coat and a big hat and hood because it's winter, and her face catches a little bit of sunlight, and she could, she couldn't move her neck because it was all cut up. But she slowly felt the sun, and she slowly just kind of turned her head to try to get her face in the sun, and I could see her remembering that. Wait a minute, I want to feel the sun, and so that's the song. I forgot all things are finite till I was given my last day, and I recall all things unfinished, nothing in the way. And I tried to keep this journal, 'cause the nurse said that'd be good. The first few pages might have moved you, but I doubt the last page would. And I'm looking out the window at the mess I'm leaving you, and I promise I never thought we would be done. But if you walk me down the driveway, point my face up to the sky, I remember the sun. Lost my sense of timing when the doctors lost my veins, and I hate the way my face looks. I hate when my eyes rain, and I tried to stand up all day 'cause the nurse said that'd be good, and I'd walk over to you right now, but I have my doubts that I could. And I'm looking out the window at the mess I'm leaving you. I promise I never thought we would be done. But if you walk me down the driveway, point my face up to the sky, I remember the sun. I remember the sun. All this talk of ending makes me want to quit too soon. You hear them telling me to do things we both know I cannot do. And I'm looking at our pictures, my memory misunderstood. I trust your version now of everything. Mine's wrong in likelihood. And I'm looking out the window at the mess I'm leaving you. And I promise I never thought we would be done. But if you walk me down the driveway, point my face up to the sky, I remember the sun. And if you walk me down the driveway, point my face up to the sky, I remember. And if you walk me down the driveway, point my face up to the sky, I remember the sun. Thank you.
That is such a beautiful song.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks.
So you explained to us the genesis of that in your wife's illness, and you taking her out for walks, which is just beautiful. And then you wrote it and presumably played it for her at some point.
Yeah.
Before you played it for other people.
Yeah, she at the time I wrote it, she had trouble hearing, so part of the head and neck cancer is a brain fog that takes a long time and it travels around your head and messes you up. But she's heard it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was her initial reaction to this? I mean, because it's the song is from her point of view.
Yeah.
So you're putting words in her mouth.
I make jokes about it. I'll be playing guitar, and Trish will literally vacuum under me. And that's not a joke, and she knows it. So she's stoic in her response to my music, but lately I think one of the post-cancer things that's happened is she's kind of understood it a little bit better. So lately she's been better. But yeah, no, she'll vacuum under me while I'm playing guitar.
That.
Yeah.
And is she coming to the concert?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
she'll be there.
And Gramercy,
I will make sure. Gramercy, no. Gramercy has some rapper concert that she's going to at Madison Square Garden, and I'm like, dude, come on.
Oh, come on.
I'm John Burton, for Christ's sake, but not. It didn't register.
The John Burton,
right? The John Burton, and but it's a friend of hers' birthday, and they have a limo, and they're going in there and doing it all Chappaqua style.
Are they listening tonight?
They might be, yeah. Yeah, Gramercy probably is, yeah.
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 Well, I just want to say I love you both.
Thanks, man.
For the love that it sounds like they've given to you and the support over difficult years.
You can't.
They're so lovable.
The miracle is that I didn't mean to, but I hurt them so bad.
Yeah.
That for them to, for them to turn around and say, you know what, we need another run at this. I did absolutely nothing to warrant getting my family back. And it was a leap of faith. And, so yeah.
And now how do they think you're doing?
They can't believe it. They really can't believe it.
How do they think you're doing as a father and a husband?
100%. I get my stock goes up at home all the time.
Does it?
Yeah.
And
finally, I'm not used to that, but it goes up all the time.
Well, I want to ask them about that when I meet them.
But yeah.
And what are some of the things that you do that you feel is raising your stock in your family?
Well, the last year with Trish was pretty much 24/7 healthcare, so I had to put all my plans for home from here and all that stuff had to sit for a year because it was daily doctor visits and feeding her and washing her and blah 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 blah. But I did that, and I'm not necessarily the person you think would be good at that stuff. And I'm not saying I was good, but I am saying I did it. So, and then for
but a lot of it is just being present, right?
Yeah. But I mean, keeping track of medications. There's 18 different pills, and you'll have to go.
Gotcha.
That's not something you necessarily want John Burton running, but so I did that, and then just I think you're right. I think just being present though is probably what drives the stock up the highest.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, thank you so much for being here and talking with us.
No, thank you for having me, man. You are really good at this. I learned so much in this hour.
We've got 1 minute left in the show.
Okay.
And then we're going to go to the theme song. Can we have him play right up to the end and skip the theme song? Just one announcement. If you're listening live, come on down. The rain has stopped. We're having First Friday here. Who's it benefiting today? The Firehouse. Somebody's making a shit ton of jambalaya. And New Orleans music, apple crisp. And I've got chalk, and everybody can draw on the mural in progress for the Morton.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea.
All right, we've got a minute and a half. John Burton, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, man. You are really, really good at this. I'm not joking. I learned a lot.
So are you. I loved listening to your stuff.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for playing us out. Everybody have a happy Friday. See you down here soon.